from the prelims through the main events. Let's start with Brandon Helsey versus Joe Yeager, which is the first fight I saw, but we'll get into the fights that I missed because at least one of them was bonused. Helsey and Yeager was controversial because in the second round, Yeager got a 1-point deduction for a low blow, but when the scores were read at the end of the fight, Helsey won 30-28, 28-30, and 30-28 by split decision, and nobody on Twitter could figure this one out. There should have at least been 30-26 or 29-27 because of the 1-point deduction, and Ryan Frederick thought maybe the scores were read wrong or added up wrong. I don't know. Even Jimmy Smith and Sean Wheelock were tweeting about it and had some interactions with them. They couldn't figure it out either. So we move on. The fights that took place before this, as mentioned, one of them was bonused on to Spike TV. That was Justin McNally and Stephen Artoff, 2:44 of the first round due to an inverted triangle choke armbar. And the other fight, which was not bonused, was Derek Campos defeating Brandon Gertz via 29-28 unanimous decision. The next fight, which was also bonused on the Spike TV, was a heavyweight bout between Ryan Martinez and Richard Hale, and Martinez just clobbered the hell out of Richard Hale with a left hand that dropped him like a ton of bricks, and the fight was over. 2:19 of the first round via KO. Jeremiah O'Neal and Rafael Butler. The referee was Big John McCarthy, but he didn't have a whole lot to do. O'Neal stopped the fight with a big TKO at 3:57 of the first round, and he won. That was that. Another quick fight was Keith Minor and Damon Jackson. 40 seconds into the fight, you could see that Minor was bleeding profusely from getting his forehead busted up, which caused Sean Wheelock to make a joke about breaking kayfabe, saying that's what pro wrestlers used to do in the 1960s. They would blade their foreheads to get the most blood. Well, he certainly was right. That's what it looked like because he had a crimson mask. And eventually, Kerry Hatley decided this fight could not continue. 2 even of the first round for the winner, Damon Jackson. They did interviews with King Mo and Seth Petruzelli to fill time because this ended the Spike.com portion early. And then we went to Blasavina versus War Machine in the welterweight bout that opened the card. And this too did not last long. War Machine got the TKO at 3:55 of the first round when he got a mounted crucifix and jacked up Avina with left hands to the head and could not respond. And once again, Kerry Hatley made a good stoppage here. In fact, Kerry Hatley redeemed himself on this card as a whole because he made good stoppages throughout. Vitaly Minakov, the Russian phenom, versus Ron Sparks at heavyweight. And once again, we had a spectacular finish on Bellator. A lot of quick finishes. And this one was exactly 32 seconds of the first round. Minakov just landed a right hand that Ron Sparks could not recover from. Boom! It was over. That's all she wrote. Minakov makes a successful Bellator debut. Afterward, we saw Big Country hanging out backstage with King Mo, which led to a whole series of jokes on Twitter because in the weigh-in, Seth Petruzelli was wearing a Burger King crown. So I joked that Big Country ought to steal that crown from Petruzelli's head since he was hanging out with King Mo. But that's neither here nor there. Jacob Noah versus Pablo Sobral might have been the longest fight of the night. And it still didn't get to a finish because it went to the third round and Babalu got wobbly when Noy rocked him with a series of shots and basically was stumbling around the cage, looking up the clock, trying to see if he could survive. And Kerry Hatley's went, no, this fight's over. And he was pissed off about it, ran over, shoved Hatley, said, fuck you, I want to continue. And then he retired immediately after the fight. So no point in suspending him for hitting an official because he suspended himself. Babalu is done, figuratively and literally. The official time, 3:31 of the third round. Jacob Noah wins by TKO. And in the main event of Bellator 96 for the Summer Series, it only took 1 minute and 35 seconds for King Mo to get Seth Petruzelli on the ground, jump over his guard with a leaping right hand, and knock him the hell out.